Hello Mallards, it is Thursday and I am back once again at Montverde to watch another set of junior one acts. And it is once again terribly windy. Because, you know, we love it. A nice windy day where you can't hear me but you can hear the wind. The first of 3 junior one acts is done. This one was Kaylin Guinness and it is Oleana, which is a David Mamet piece. And it centers around, it's 2 performers, and it centers around a college professor and the student, female student, that he assaults. And it is sort of like 3 steps in time in their story that ends with, I think maybe her, well, not dying, but him like really assaulting her. It's a very heavy piece. And I think Kaylin did a great job of like giving it that weight and also giving it room to breathe. The set was very simple because it didn't need to be complicated. And I thought the staging choices were really good. Also, her performers' choices, I don't know if they get to select who's in the show, but she had Ashton playing her professor, and he's very tall, and so he looms over anyone else who's playing opposite him, pretty much. And that dynamic also, I think, is a good use of power. She also gave him a large desk to be behind and gave the female student, a single chair, which is also like playing into that really well, and I really liked that. Also, the progression of costume changes as he goes from like very put together to more and more unkempt, and she goes to more and more covered up, I thought was really a good choice. And overall, the piece was very well done. I am not a fan of Mamet necessarily as a writer, mostly because of his tendency to do unfinished sentences and conversations that don't necessarily travel in a linear fashion. But Kaylin did a great job of pulling that all together, and the performers did a great job of feeding that back and forth. So it was really fun, and I got 2 more one acts to go. Show number 2 is down. This was Ashton's piece. It's called When We Were Young and Unafraid, I think. Ooh, man, windy again. It is a brilliantly selected script. Like a very good choice for the group of people that he had to work with, and then a very great selection for performers, which is usually like not a director's job but is a big part of it for this, and so Ashton did a really good job with that. The set was more elaborate than some of the others, but singular, and the staging was very well done. It had a significant number of blackouts, which is interesting for a one act and was slightly concerning for me the first time it happened, but it actually ended up flowing pretty well from scene to scene and shot to shot. And it tells the story of a woman who essentially runs a home for other women who are down on their luck, whether they have been left or they have been beaten or they are running away from one thing or another. And the story itself is very beautiful, and he did a good job of like progressing all of the characters through their arcs. I thought that the staging choices were really good, and a lot of the like performance aspects were really well done. And it was very clear that every single one of those people had a very strong grasp on who their characters were and what their relationships were with each other, which is really important in a short piece like that, because it is your interactions that are not necessarily dialogue that really tell a relationship story in a one act. And I thought that that was very well done. Overall, fantastic job, Ashton. Like, great job conceptualizing the set and great job deciding on the staging and motions as you went along. And overall, it was super fun. And now I got one more one act for this evening. just finished the third and final show. This was Larissa's show. She actually directed a show she wrote herself called American Dream. And it is the story of a family falling apart in the wake of the death of the patriarch. And it was very, very well done. It is a clever script with a lot of really good beats and jokes. And it's clear that she has done a good job putting this together and tightening it up and revising it. It has this sort of like Knives Out feel, if you've seen that. Not in a like you're trying to figure out who done it, but just in a way that the family dynamics are portrayed, which I really enjoyed. And the staging for this was really nice. It also like did a little bit of time period jumps back and forth, but those were very clearly indicated in that in some of them the patriarch was alive and in some of them he wasn't. And I thought that the points that the script touched on were really important. It is a story about like hard work and the American dream, but then also advantages and disadvantages and privilege. And I thought that Larissa did a great job sort of showing a sort of darkness and a lightness on both sides of that I really enjoyed. It was funny with a good, strong heart, and her direction was very good. There's a lot of high octane scenes in this particular show, a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming, a lot of back and forth, and she did a really good job of creating that energy on stage without letting it be overpowering. And I thought that that is really, really cool. And all in all, the moments, especially the softer moments, were very, very good. And the whole dynamic of everybody was really nice. I would love to see a longer version of this show because there were a lot of performers in it, and some of which I feel did not get the time they deserved. Some characters who didn't get the time they deserved because there were some comments made about characters that are threads that I would love to follow. So I would enjoy seeing an expanded version of the show, but the one-act version is really, really fun. And those are the 3 shows for today. I'm going to make my way to Fringe, where I'm seeing at least one other show. And I will see all of you tomorrow.